What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, the Supreme B-Man, and I am back once again with our Evo series. And now we're getting into Namco Bandai territory. In this particular video, there's not really too much with Namco Bandai. I mean, they got Soul Calibur 6 right now, which is also being represented at Evo, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, they got a huge roster of games. They've been working alongside with Arc System Works, with the Dragon Ball Fighters and the Guilty Gears and all that stuff. I mean, Namco Bandai has pretty much, backed other companies and whatnot, but they also have their own fighting game franchises, such as one of my most heartfelt childhood fighting games, which is the Tekken series. I love the Tekken series. I love Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tekken 4, Tekken Tag 1, Tekken Tag 2, Tekken Tag 5, Tekken 6, Tekken 7, and what I'm looking forward to in the next installment to the franchise, the Mishima, the end of the Mishima story, which is Tekken 8. I've had this on my top 10 E3 video game announcement list, and now I'm putting it on my Evo list, as I would love to hear about another Tekken game in the works for Namco Bandai. It's only a matter of time before they do release it or announce it. I would love to hear about the characters that we have left, or the characters that are being brought up into the Mishima story to kind of finalize it. We all know that Jin is apparently the one that's supposed to be Kazuya, because spoiler alert, Kazuya ends up killing Heihachi at the end of the game. He throws him into a volcano, and then apparently Akuma shows up, and Akuma is going to be, he was hired by Kazuya's mother to kill both Kazuya and Heihachi for manner of reasons. I don't know. I guess to make sure that the devil gene doesn't go to either one of them, and I guess in a way she probably wanted it to go to her grandson. But I don't know. I'm not for sure. They didn't really, kind of highlight it on that or talked about that much, other than the fact that Akuma was in the game. And there's a couple of reasons why I think Akuma was in that game, and a lot of people who's in the know why Akuma's in that game. But I'm going to touch on that towards the end of the video. But I would love to see where it all ends, because that's pretty much Tekken is like a soap opera. It is basically that type of fighting game that actually has a concrete story that makes somewhat a manner of sense. A lot of fighting games don't really have too much good consistent storylines. I don't think Street Fighter really has much of a real storyline, other than the fact that Shadow Lu keeps showing up, and Ryu, Chun-Li, and Ken keep having to put down Bison and stuff like that. But now, spoiler alert again, Bison is gone, so there's no reason. There's another looming threat that I didn't mention in my Capcom video, that Guild is apparently, the Illuminati is on its way, and so that's probably their next storyline. But as for Tekken, though, it's been like this lifelong child story of redemption, revenge, and then eventually, global takeover. And it's basically the bad guy's story. Kazuya, started off being the good guy, but then eventually became the villain. And even Jin, in some kind of way, he was kind of like the Lelouch. If you've ever watched, the anime was right on my tongue, Code Geass. If you ever watched that anime, that's kind of what Jin was, in a kind of sort of way. He was kind of the bad guy that was actually the good guy, but yet he was still doing bad things on the side. I don't know. He was having an emo phase. I'm not sure. But other than that, I didn't really like that Jin that much. I didn't like him being kind of this anti-hero, when all in all he was actually the good guy in all of this. And so, but it's because of circumstances that made him the bad guy. So, and there's a lot of other characters that also have a story that kind of wrap around the Mishima, saga. Nina Williams and Anna Williams, the two, assassins, the two assassin sisters. And then there's Eddie Gordo, who was working with Jin, but in the last Tekken game, in Tekken 7, he didn't get represented all that well, so it's kind of sad. He started off having a really good story. He actually teamed up with Jin when he took over the Mishima estate at the time, but then, once he lost it, there was a lot of turmoil. Him and Christy were in a thing, and it all tied to Christy's father, who happened to be the master to Eddie Gordo. There's a whole lot of stuff going on there. You can always look that up, but I think there should be a lot of other characters that should also get involved with the final climax of this story. Hopefully that they actually have like cinematic cutscenes, because in the last game it was heavily narrated by some American news reporter who showed up, and it didn't really make much sense to me, when really all they had to do was just like actually create cinematic cutscenes for all of them, or if not, add the subtitles and whatnot. I didn't really like that whole thing with the narrator, reporter dude. Hopefully they get it right. Maybe do a Yakuza type of cinematic thing, not where the entire game is an entire movie. Just have really good cutscenes to kind of tell your story, rather than having somebody tell us what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And then, other than Tekken 8, I think Tekken Tag 3 is in the works, is going to be coming. The final Tekken Tag game, maybe. I'm not sure. Normally, there's always a Tekken Tag game in between each installment. We had Tekken Tag 2 after Tekken 6, and then after that was Tekken 7, and now I think there should be a Tekken Tag 3. Tekken Tag is usually one of my favorite type of tag games, team up games. Real easy tag system, and you can pretty much put all of your Tekken characters in just one single team, and just duke it out. Either you can do 2-on-2, or you can do 1v2, or however you want to set it up. It was really good, and I think with the Tekken 7 engine and with all the mechanics that Tekken 7 had, you can easily implement that into Tekken Tag 3. It's basically a Tekken All-Stars tag game, so I think Tekken 3 would be great to showcase at EVO, or maybe show a trailer of some sort. I've always loved the music in Tekken. In the entire Tekken series, period. I think they have probably the best music out of most of the fighting games that I'm going to be talking about, or I've ever mentioned. I really think that Namco Bandai has a really good orchestrated, music selection for Tekken. It's probably top tier. It's up there. I think it's like second to another notable fighting game franchise that I know and I will be talking about in other videos. But to go into maybe the last game that I'm going to mention in this video, that I didn't even list, as a matter of fact, because I just thought about it, talking about Akuma in Tekken 7. Do you guys know why he was in Tekken 7? Well, if we go back maybe a few years ago, maybe it was 2012 or whatever, there was a game, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It was, to me, I felt like it was a really good fighting game, and it brought in both the sides of Street Fighter and Tekken into one singular battle arena. You can do 2v2 battles. You would team your Street Fighter characters with your Tekken characters, or you just have an all-out Street Fighter team against a all-out Tekken team, and it was really cool. Unfortunately, it was made by Capcom, but the unfortunate part is that, you know, there was a lot of issues that the game had. The gym system wasn't really what people really wanted. It was an on-off switch for the gym system, and on top of that, there were characters that were on the disc that were fully prepared, and due to hackers and data miners, they were able to unlock those characters and use those characters before anybody else could, you know, unless you paid for them. And so that caused a huge uproar in the fighting game community, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken has been kind of shelved because of that. It's kind of like been thrown in the background with Marvel Infinite. Although the game is still beautiful, still good looking, it has that Street Fighter 4 shell shade kind of look to it. But overall, I think it is a good game. I will admit the DLC stuff kind of does suck, and I, for one, I paid for the DLC. But it's what I wanted, and considering nowadays with the way DLC is being used and loot boxes and stuff, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it didn't do too much bad than other games of this franchise or other franchises period did. But to get to the point, because I kind of rambled there, because I actually like Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I'm actually a fan of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I bought an arcade stick, I bought the guidebook, I bought the game, the special edition, all that. But it was unfortunate that not a lot of people really were playing that game, and it's kind of sad and it sucked. But to move on, the reason why Akuma was in Tekken 7 is because the creator of the Tekken series, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong because I might, and I have it on the tip of my tongue, but Harada, I hope I'm saying that right. He announced that there was going to be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter game to counter fight against Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because there was like this big promotional thing that Capcom was going to make a cross fighting game, and then Namco was going to make a cross fighting game. I think this is the time and the place for it. I think people are kind of asking for that, and if Capcom isn't going to do any, you know, Street Fighter games for a little while, or if they're not going to announce any at the moment in time, I think a Tekken Cross Street Fighter game would be the best time to announce at this very moment for Evo, for next gen consoles and stuff like that, unless they want to hold out for E3 2020. I mean, that's completely up to them, but to be, you know, quite frank, I think it would be nice to hear about a game like that at Evo, or an announcement, a trailer. Anything would be beautiful. Anything like that would be awesome to me. And so I'm hoping that Namco Bandai will either announce Tekken 8, Tekken Tag 3, or Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Either one I would be down with. So anyways, guys, getting close to the end of the video, but here's the part that I asked you guys to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to be trying to upload these videos as quick as possible, as much as possible. And on top of that, there's a lot of other videos that I got ideas for, and I'm going to go crazy with the editing and all that other stuff. So I would appreciate it if you did hit the subscribe button and the like button. But what I also really would like you guys to do is to join the conversation in the comment section below, and let's get a conversation started. What do you guys think of Namco Bandai? What kind of games that you would like to see? Is it any of the games that I talked about, or any games that you guys might be thinking about? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, it is your boy, the Supreme B-Man, and I will see you guys next time. Deuces.